Hey everyone, welcome to Adventures in Everyday Cooking, where every day can be an adventure in your kitchen. My name is Heather, and the spring allergies have me like, ugh. So pardon my scratchy throat, but I knew that this adventure was very timely and I needed to get it done because several people have asked me this week, which do you like better, Heather? Sous vide corned beef or Instant Pot corned beef? And you guys, I didn't have an answer. So today we are going to answer that question. Which is better? Which method reigns supreme? And which will I do for the rest of my days? So if you're ready for this adventure, let's get started. So this adventure actually started yesterday because I had to get the sous vide started and going yesterday because it takes 10 hours to do the corned beef in your sous vide. Now, several of the recipes that I looked at actually didn't have you doing the vegetables with the meat at the same time, and that had me a little confused because what I know about sous vide vegetables are amazing, so why wouldn't you do it all together in the same bag? Most of them would pull the corned beef out of the sous vide when it was done, let it rest, and then pour the broth into a pan and boil their veggies in that broth. I wasn't having that. So let me just show you what I did last night. What I did last night to get this corned beef ready for the sous vide was I covered the corned beef in the seasoning packet that it came with, and then I got it inside a very large freezer seal bag. I then added 4.5 carrots, 1.5 pounds of potatoes, and half of a cabbage. I could have added the whole cabbage, but I split the cabbage between the two meals. I then added 1 cup of beef broth, and then I sealed it inside a very large food saver bag. I went ahead and I got my sous vide water started to 180 degrees. As soon as it came to temperature, I submerged my bag inside the water, and then I used Pampered Chef's tongs to make sure that it stayed under the water. Now, because this is going to take 10 hours to do, I went ahead and covered the whole thing in saran wrap. Like I was going to town with saran wrap like you wouldn't believe, because I didn't want any water to be lost, because if too much water is lost, it drops the temperature of the water and it will drop so low that your sous vide may go off in the middle of the night, and I definitely didn't want that. So then once that was all ready to go, I went to bed. Then this morning, a couple hours before this was done, I went ahead and I started our Instant Pot because it takes a good minute to do that. You're gonna want to do this for 25 minutes per pound of the roast that you had. I had a 2-pound roast, so it's gonna take me about 50 minutes. Plus the time it comes to pressure, the time it comes down, and 5 extra minutes for those veggies. So here's what I did. So inside the inner pot of your Instant Pot, you're gonna wanna put your rack so that meat is not sitting on the bottom. You're then gonna wanna add your corned beef right onto the rack along with all of those seasonings. Then add your 4 cups of broth, so it's different than the sous vide. And then we're gonna seal it, and we are gonna set the timer for 25 minutes per pound. And this is only a 2-pound corned beef, so it's only gonna take me about 50 minutes. At the end of the 50 minutes, we are going to release the pressure on the pot, and then we're gonna add in all of our veggies and get it restarted for 5 minutes. And now you guys, the 5 minutes is over and it's time to get everything out. So if you're ready, let's get started to see which one reigns supreme. I don't know. I really don't know. Let's go. All right, since this has been going the longest, we're gonna go ahead and get this one out first. So I'm gonna unwrap our little package here, and I didn't lose any water. This was a fantastic way to cover my pot. Now, I could go get a Cambro with a closing lid, but I haven't done that yet, so this worked out just fine. All right, here it comes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move this pot so I don't burn myself. It's 180 degrees, so I'm gonna move it over there. Okay, I got a bowl here, and we're gonna dump the entire contents of this bag into our bowl. Make sure you reserve all of that broth too, because yeah. Oh my, that looks fantastic. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use our brand new tongs from Pampered Chef and bring this out. I'll put it on this side of the table and I'll let it rest there. It's still awfully hot, so we're gonna let it rest there for just a couple minutes while we get out the other one. So let's go ahead and release this pressure. I guess I forgot to do that. I'll tell you what, spring allergies in Texas are nothing to be messed with. Woo! I'm gonna grab my little microwave grip set and I'm gonna grab my rack here. And let's see if we can bring all of that out. Ooh, that worked. Okay, some of it fell. Okay. That's fine. All right, let's go ahead and take this guy out and set him there. And we will fish out the other veggies. You know what I'll do? I'll just pour it because we want the juice. So I'm gonna use my little microwave grip set again. All right, now we have a bowl of each of these and our meat is resting. Okay, so before we cut into the meat, let's check out the veggie situation here. There's some things that I noticed. The sous vide veggies, as you can see, are all kind of the same shade. So the cabbage turned very brown like the beef broth, which I don't think that's a bad thing, but we'll find out the texture in just a moment. Compared to the Instant Pot veggies, you can still see it retained some of the green cabbagey color. And again, not a deal breaker, but just something to be noticed. Okay, so this is the meat that came out of the Instant Pot, and this is the one that came out of the sous vide. They look pretty identical, if you ask me. Both look a lot like corned beef, which I guess that's a good thing because they are corned beef. All right, so while we give this one a chance to rest just a little bit longer, let's go ahead and try the veggies for both. So I'm gonna move these guys over here. I'm gonna get 1 carrot and 1 potato and a piece of the cabbage. All right, so let's start with the carrot. So I'm gonna go ahead and slice into both carrots. Both are very tender. It's a good carrot. Tastes a lot like that pickling and oh, it's very good. It's a different flavor. Both are good, but this one has more beef flavor and this one has more of a carroty flavor and this one has, this one tastes like it has been brined and almost pickled, and it is very, very good. I feel like carrot-wise, I really like this one so far. Just the carrot itself, it just has a lot more flavor. This still has great flavor. In fact, I'm just gonna take another carrot. There's nothing wrong with that carrot, but this one far superior. All right, so now let's cut into the potato. Cut really nicely, nice and done. Cut really nicely. This one felt a little bit more drier when I just cut into it, but we're gonna give it a good test. All right, cooked potato. This is the sous vide one. Again, that pickling spice throughout, really good. It penetrated every part of that potato. Oh, that's good. Why don't people do that? Probably just because of the cabbage, but I have an idea for that. Okay. Okay. So because there was far less time for that brine to penetrate those potatoes, the inside of that potato is lacking a lot of flavor. Feels like it could use a lot of salt, whereas this one is perfect the way that it is. So, 1 for sous vide. Okay, let's do the cabbage. Okay, the cabbage is very soft. Am I mad that it's that soft? No, but I could see where somebody might be mad that it's that soft. So if you like a little bite to your cabbage, definitely do your cabbage separately and then mix it all together. But that could just be one little piece, but I don't think so. Having basically boiled this cabbage for 10 hours, it did lose some of its integrity. The flavor is amazing. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, Texture's the same. All right. Ooh, but that cabbage is still really good. So cabbage-wise, I think they're the same. Potatoes-wise, that's a better potato. So yes, 1,000 times the potatoes in this are phenomenal. This one just tastes like potato. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, let's cut into the meat and see what we think. Now, everyone says to cut across the against the grain when you cut these things. I don't really know what against the grain is. I mean, I do, but I always get so confused, especially when I'm on camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the sous vide one first. I'm just gonna cut a couple slices. Cuts very, very well. Am I against the grain? Oh, I hope so. Wow, that looks fantastic. All right, and then let's cut into the Instant Pot one. Okay, I might be cutting different ways. I don't know. We'll just leave it. We'll just leave it for the moment. All right, so the differences between the meat, there's not much differences. They both look nice and pink. This is the sous vide one. And this is the Instant Pot one. Both are extremely moist. So visually, they look very similar. But what do the textures say? Let's find out. I'm going to do the middle one here. I love corned beef. Oh man, I can easily eat all of this. That's really good. Texturally, it has not lost no integrity. It's not soft and squishy like some people claim sometimes the sous vide can do if you cook it incorrectly. That right there is phenomenal. Let's go for the Instant Pot. Ready? It's very surprising. You'd think the way the Instant Pot cooks it compared to the sous vide low, slow for 10 hours, you would lose a lot of moisture, and you really don't. It's a different texture element on this. There is definitely some differences. This is a little bit more grainy. Like you can really taste the fibers of the meat. Whereas this one is so good and so tender, but there is a difference between the two. Which of the two meats do I prefer? I can't pick. I can't pick a preference between these two. So I'm gonna have my family come in and see what they think. The husband has spoken. So here is his findings. The sous vide has the most flavor of either of these. So flavor-wise, texture-wise, this is the winner, clear winner. It had, like I said, that seasoning packet really penetrated all of those vegetables because it was cooking in that liquid for 10 hours. So the amount of seasoning that got into the vegetables is far superior to over here. This one, he said, was a little drier and the vegetables were a little mushy. So that could have been user error, just a bit. However, in order to get any flavoring into those vegetables, you need them to be able to cook in that broth for a little bit longer than what they were cooked for. So you could, when this is done, take it out to rest, put your veggies into that broth, and maybe set it for, no, see, you need that for those potatoes though. You need the 5 minutes for the potatoes. I don't know. He said both were very good, that he would be very happy with either of these served to him on St. Patrick's Day. So the clear winner for us though is the sous vide, all in one bag. I didn't have to fuss with it. However, I did have to set it into motion 10 or 12 hours before this moment. So definitely not something I can just throw together on a Sunday for a Sunday meal or something like that. Whereas this one, I can throw together very quickly with very little effort and in just under 2 hours, because you have to include the rise time for the pressure, the actual time in the pot, which is 25 minutes per pound. And this was a 2-pound roast, so it was 50 minutes of pressure time. then the release of pressure, then the veggie pressure, and then the veggie time, and then the release of pressure. So you're looking at about 2 hours versus 10 to 12 hours, depending, because it'll hold at temperature for a couple hours. So you're looking at a vast difference, but texture and flavor, sous vide wins. Did you expect that? I kind of expected it, but what I didn't expect was for them to be so similar that when my husband came in, I mean, he definitely said this one had more flavor, but he still enjoyed this one very much. So if you have an Instant Pot or a pressure cooker or a quick cooker or a multi-cooker, you should try your corned beef this way this year. Super simple. If you have a sous vide, yes, some of you do have multi-cookers that you could probably try to sous vide your corned beef. However, the multi-cooker is so small, which is why I did not use it today. I could not get this whole meal into the multi-cooker and have it done at the same time that my pressure cooker was gonna be done, which is why I used the Innova. But if you have a sous vide immersion circulator of any sort, definitely try your corned beef in the sous vide this year. You will not be sad that you did, because that's pretty good. Again, I will say, the cabbage, I remember I was a little worried about the cabbage over here. Turned out fantastic. And I don't understand why people aren't doing their vegetables in with their meat. Maybe they don't like the briny kind of flavor of their vegetables, but it's corned beef and cabbage. These vegetables taste like this corned beef, and that's kind of the idea, right? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Take it for what it's worth, but there is your comparison. Both valid, both amazing. They're delicious. Now I'm gonna get off here and we're gonna serve up some dinner and have a great St. Patrick's Day early celebration, because obviously I'm doing this before St. Patrick's Day. So you have some options on how you wanna do your corned beef this St. Patrick's Day. All right, you guys, so if you enjoyed that video, give it a like, share it with friends, and subscribe to my channel. I do videos several times a week. Usually I don't sound like this, but Texas allergies are taking hold. And until I get them under control, we're gonna have this version of me. I do apologize. But hopefully the next adventure, I'll be all cleared up and we'll be all ready to go. All right, you guys, well, we'll see you on the next one. Bye. Gonna go drink my tea now.